Madam Clerk, we're reporting out of closed session. We have one item.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's one item reporting out of close. It is report number CMS 26008 relating to the lease of 215 Industrial Parkway South to the Department of National Defense. And the motion would read that council closed session report number CMS 26008 be received and that the confidential direction to staff be confirmed.
Okay, someone to move that? Councillor Gillian, second by Councillor Weiss. Any comments or questions? Recorded vote.
The mayor has called the recorded vote, and I'll start with Councillor Gillian. How do you vote? Councillor Gillian votes yes. Councillor Gallo? Councillor Gallo votes no. Mayor Mrakas?
Yes.
Mayor Mrakas votes yes. Councillor Gardner? Councillor Gardner votes no. Councillor Weiss? Councillor Weiss votes yes. Councillor Kim? Councillor Kim votes yes. And Councillor Thompson? And Councillor Thompson votes yes, and that motion carries.
Yep. Confirming bylaw. Someone like to move that? Mr. Thompson, second. Councillor Kim. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Gardner, Councillor Weiss, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Madam Clerk, time is 7:04. I'm going to call this council meeting to order. Town of Aurora acknowledges that the Anishinaabe lands on which we live and work are the traditional and treaty territories of the Chippewas of Regina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues to this day. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as the Williams Treaties of 1923, a shared understanding of the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us walk together into a better future. Councillor, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Councillor Gillian, Councillor Weiss. Mr. Gallo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just before we start, I'm sure we'll all share the sentiment of many people here that are here regarding the incident, the terrible incident regarding a dog and a precious pet. And there's nothing on the agenda, so we won't be formally speaking to it or you, but I thought it would be important to just to communicate to you that notwithstanding the fact that we cannot say much about it, that the town is doing, we are all doing our very best to figure out exactly what happened and what course to take, and so that things like this never happen again.
Motion. Do I have it? Motion? Okay, call the vote. Councillor Gillian? Councillor Gillian, yes. That carries. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Community presentations. We have 3. 5.1 Students of Girls Only Leadership Course regarding impact of recreation and healthy active living leadership course.
Hello, Mayor Mrakas, Council, and town staff. My name is Amanda, and I am so excited to be speaking with you today. My classmates and I have been taking the Healthy Active Living Leadership course for the past 12 weeks. While taking this course, we have gained many important certifications, including first aid and CPR, and have gained many valuable skills in areas such as mentorship, leadership, and event planning. We are here today to talk to you about the importance of this course and specifically how this course provides opportunities, resources for young women like myself. I would now like to pass the microphone on to my classmate, Fatima, who will go more in depth about the certifications.
Hello, my name is Fatima, and I am a student in the PLF 4M course. As my classmate and friend Amanda just mentioned, throughout this course, we had the opportunity to earn multiple certifications, gain leadership experience, and earn a grade 12 Ontario High School credit at the same time. The 5 certifications that we earned are the High 5 Principles of Healthy Childhood Development, Level C CPR and First Aid, 2 National Coaching Certification Program certifications, and Leaders in Action. In addition to this, we also got the chance to run an event at Aurora's Youth Innovation Fair. We learned how to prepare, execute, and debrief events. Now I would like to hand the microphone to Theresa.
Hi, my name is Theresa, and I'll be talking about the importance of girls-only spaces. Girls-only spaces, like our leadership course, are important because it creates an comfortable environment where young women and girls have the chance to develop leadership skills, build confidence, and be able to feel safe and speak up. Girls-only spaces isn't about excluding young men and boys, but rather helps girls create connections and opportunities because girls are significantly underrepresented in leadership positions. In sports, girls often face fewer leadership opportunities, lower participation rates, and stereotypes that discourage young women and girls. And in comparison to boys, many girls leave or quit sports at a higher rate, which is why it's so important to make a space where it's supportive and we're building confidence, skills, and long-term involvement in sports and leadership. Our course is also led by amazing and strong women who have prioritized our learning, experiences, and confidence. To be in a space for women ran by women is such a great experience, and we have all benefited from both Sarah and Haley. The Healthy Active Leadership course and other similar spaces can create a comfortable setting where communication, leadership, teamwork, and feeling empowered are all present for girls, opening a path for them to be able to succeed and grow as future leaders. Thank you. Now I'll be passing it to my classmate, Jasmine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine. Throughout the Recreation and Healthy Active Living Leadership course, not only did we gain certificates and friendships, but we also gained valuable leadership skills that we can use in school, sports, and for the rest of our lives. During the course, we've had multiple opportunities to lead activities, work with different groups of people, organize events, and practice effective communication with our classmates. These experiences have helped us become more confident, responsible, and comfortable taking initiative in different situations. As a group, we learned that leadership is not just about being in charge, but also about supporting others, listening to different ideas, and creating a positive environment. Through activities and group challenges, we worked together to solve problems, adapt to situations, and make sure everyone felt included. These experiences helped us improve our teamwork, communication, and decision-making skills. Overall, the Recreation and Healthy Active Living Leadership course has helped us grow not only as students, but also as leaders and teammates. It taught us the importance of responsibility, cooperation, respect, positivity. It also showed how leadership can make a difference in both our own lives and the lives of others. I am now going to pass the mic to Kaylee.
Hello, and my name is Kaylee. To wrap up, the Town of Aurora Recreation and Healthy Active Living Leadership course has been a valuable experience that helped us grow through volunteer work, certifications, and hands-on event planning experiences. We further developed our skills in teamwork, taking initiative, and confidently stepping into leadership roles in real situations. These experiences have shown us what it takes to work as a team, support our community, and lead with purpose. Moving forward, the skills and certifications we've gained will help us in future jobs, school opportunities, and all kinds of leadership opportunities. We started this course as strangers, and we are now all leaving as friends. Sarah and Haley have created a space where we all belong and mentored us as student and people. On behalf of our class, thank you. To my classmates standing behind me, thank you for making this course so memorable and special. Overall, this course is important to not only continue to grow, the leaders, teachers, and mentors involved in this course have helped us become more prepared and confident young leaders, leaders who are ready for what comes next.
Council, can I get a motion to receive the presentation? Councillor Weiss, Councillor Gardner. Any comments or questions? Councillor Gallo? Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for describing what you do. No doubt it's an amazing experience. Just out of curiosity, could you guys just tell us what grades you're in and what schools you're from?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm in grade 11 and I go to Huron Heights Secondary School.
Okay.
I should probably hand it off to my people standing behind me for the rest of it.
Would you mind?
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm in grade 10 and I go to New Market High School.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fatima and I'm in grade 11 and I go to Houghton-Alea Secondary School.
Hi, my name is Theresa. I'm in grade 12 and I go to Northern Secondary School.
Hi, my name is Amanda and I go to Aurora High School as a grade 11.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for all that you've accomplished is clearly a fantastic mentorship. We're so proud to have this in Aurora and supporting all of you. Thank you.
Councillor Weiss?
Thank you. And I want to thank the girls for coming forward. It's very courageous to get in front of a group of people. So I want to recognize that. But I also want to thank both Haley and Sarah. I've worked with Sarah before. Haley, of course, works here. A question to you and through the mayor. Is the mentoring going to continue to keep track of where the girls get placed, what they do afterwards, so we can take a look at the real impact of them as they go through their sporting and other lives?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Absolutely great question, Councillor Weiss. We have created a alumni group. This is our 4th year running this course, and we stay in contact with all the girls. We send out job opportunities, the Women in Sport Luncheon Weekend. All of our alumni are invited back, and we include all of the parents and guardians on those emails as well. So we will absolutely be keeping track. My favorite, and I know Sarah's favorite part we were talking about earlier, is being able to be job references for these young women. And especially when we see graduates from this course come back and work in our camps as counselors, camp directors, and work their way up. So we have been able to be part of their lives from 4 years ago onwards, and this class will stay a part of that as well.
Councillor.
That's a great model and good luck with it. It's really quite unique, and I thank you both for all the work you do.
Councillor Gardner.
Thank you so much. I'm very glad to see you all join us this evening. My questions have been answered, so good luck.
Any other comments or questions? Ladies, tremendous work. Haley and Sarah, thank you for putting this together. It's been an incredible course, I think, that allows young women in our community to become, truly learn how to become leaders. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job. And I want to thank all the girls that are here. I know you guys are our future, so we appreciate all that you've done and all you continue to do. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys and what you guys will be doing in your future years. So thank you. Oh,
Garage. We promised them a photo with all of you. This will be something that we will give them as part of the graduation. So if council would be so kind as to join us in the middle, we'll take a photo on our way over to our celebration.
Sure. Council.
try to get out of the shot.
Hey. Council, I'll just call the vote on that to receive for information. Councillor Gillian? Councillor Gillian? The vote. We're in the midst of a meeting, everyone.
And I think this meeting can take 5 minutes.
We've staff and our solicitor have already explained, sir. Otherwise, we're gonna have to clear the chambers.
So we're not gonna take any responsibility for this.
We have taken responsibility, sir. Please, you can, that vote carries.
Okay, sir, what have you done to address this matter?
Council, I'll call recess. We've cleared the chambers. With that? Thank you. So everyone, before we get back to the business of town, we do want to acknowledge that the tragic incident occurred a couple of weeks ago is a concern, and we understand what's being expressed by members of the public following the death of Heiniu, a Rottweiler in East Gwillimbury. Our thoughts and prayers are with the dog owners, the witnesses, the responders, and everyone affected by this difficult incident. Our Director of Corporate Services gave us an update that the town is reviewing the matter, cooperating with the dog owners, appropriate authorities, and oversight bodies, including the province's Animal Welfare Service Branch Public Safety Division. As this process is ongoing, the town is unable to provide additional details at this time. While I appreciate that some members of the public may be frustrated by the limited information that can be shared at this stage, the town is limited in what information can be publicly disclosed due to legal obligations relating to privacy, employment matters, procedural fairness, and the integrity of the ongoing review process. So we are looking into this. At this point, I am going to ask for waiver of procedure. I was just speaking with some of these. What's your point of order, Councillor Gallo?
I'd like to waive procedural bylaw to allow one delegate to speak for 5 minutes. I've had an agreement with them that we'd allow them to do that and speak to everyone, and then at least they'll get their perspective to us.
Yes, we came to that agreement in the back. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Weiss, Councillor Gardner.
So
all those favor? Opposed? That carries. Come on. Yep, come ahead. You have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
你跟他们讲，我的英语呢不是我的第一语言，所以呢我需要一点翻译，我不想犯错误。
Yan saying English is not his first language, so he may want me to help for translation.
你跟他讲，我很抱歉，因为刚才挨骂，头晕恶心，所以离开了。头晕恶心。
哦。
然后呢，那他们希望我们回来，那我们感觉好一点了，就回来了。
He feels sorry that they left before because Emma, she didn't feel well. And then I called them and then they are here right now.
帮我把我们的诉求读一下。你先等一会儿，你说本来我们来听解决问题，不是要我们在这儿发言。你先说这个。
Yeah, they're saying that they're here for hearing the solution, not for speaking.
这件事从5月4号到现在已经发生很多天了，我没有得到任何政府的有效正面回应。
This thing happened for many days already, and then they didn't receive any response from the town.
我们只看到了，那你帮我把我的诉求先读一下，然后的话我接着再说。
Yang want me to read his statement. Thank you for being here and for paying attention to Heil's story. Our family is not doing a full interview tonight. Our position is simple. We want the truth. We want all relevant records preserved and reviewed. We want the full timeline. We want an independent investigation. We want accountability. This is not about attacking individuals. This is about understanding what happened during a public service response and making sure this never happens to another family or another animal. We are asking for the relevant records, including call notes, dispatch information, witness accounts, officer notes, and the full timeline. We are also asking for an independent investigation. Our family is here peacefully. We believe the community deserves clear answers. Truth for Heiniu.
Thank you.
看来这是我不是想这样来解决问题，是你们非喜欢用这样的方式让我这个产生。
He is saying that he doesn't mean to come here to asking for the solution, but because the town they didn't get any response from the town, so that's why he is here today.
这件事情本来非常非常简单，非常好解决和处理。
This thing originally should be resolved in very simple way.
现场有多名目击证人，为什么没有人去了解这个事情？
Here come a lot of like witnesses. Witnesses here, they're all here, and then how come no one asking them for a testimony?
为什么一定要把我们的普通居民拖到法律诉讼程序？
Why the town made us to use for the legal issue to find a lawyer?
我们在做什么？我们在浪费每一个人的时间，我们在浪费公共资源。
We are wasting lot of time for like the taxpayer and the money.
所以我希望呢，在任何事情没有调查清楚之前，都不说这句。你就说，如果说法不一样，为什么不能独立调查？
说法是什么？
如果政府的说法和我们
Okay.
证人的说法不一样，为什么不能独立调查？
Okay,
Why?
so if we have two stories from two sides, so why didn't that they can have a individual independent investigation?
社区居民需要知道真相，
The community need the answer.
所以 OK，
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
颁给我。
Okay, thank you.
Here, our family's story. I just want to let everybody know, Heiniu is our family. So it's really important to us, to my children, my daughter, and my son. When I see the Heinius, they died already. My 4.5 years son see the Heiniu lying down to blood, you know. I just pick up the phone to pick up my dog, but when I see that happening, that is horribly to me and to my son. I can't sleep. My children cannot go over suffer for this. I just want the truth for Heiniu. Everybody want to know. Even the public, lots of witnesses, they see all the procedures, they have the videos. We talk to the staff, stop, please, save the animals. Nobody hears that. They continue to do that. That is horrible. It's not happening in Canada. It's really beautiful, happiness, honest country. I never believed that happened. That is Canada. I'm in immigration to the Canada is over 20 years. I love here. Here is honest, all shown here. Everybody's honest. I love here. It's my second country, but our family cannot tolerate this. I feel so disgusted. I feel dizzy every day. I feel disgusting. What's happening? Thank you.
Council, a motion to receive the delegation. Councillor Weiss, Councillor Thompson. Comments, questions? All vote. That carries. Council, before I call the next committee person, I will say again, everyone, this is a very upsetting situation for everyone. I don't think any one of us can have an understanding of what the Yu family is going through on a personal level. We've all had dogs. I've had 2 dogs. When I lost my dog, I couldn't even bear it. And so I can't even imagine what the Yu family is going through. But as I stated, there is a review and an investigation occurring. It's provincial. I just mentioned it in the last thing. I'll get it back for, let me pull it back up for you and I'll tell you exactly. Province's Animal Welfare Services Branch Public Safety Division. Okay. They have not, at this point, I have no other information. As I said, once that information is available, sir, we are going to make it public. Okay. We will make it available when we can. Our staff have been in contact with the Yu family. We're working with them and we're going to make sure that we have, ma'am, please, we have emails. I don't want to get into the back and forth of who has. We're working with everyone to try to find a solution and a resolution and find out the truth about this all. And so anything that needs to be accountable will be accountable. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, everyone. We got to get back to the business of the public. So thank you. Council 5.2, Gillian Freeman, Executive Director, Victim Services of York Region, 24-hour crisis intervention services. Gillian, welcome. This presentation, you have 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, town staff. I'm Gillian with Victim Services of York Region. It's a program that provides services here in York Region and specifically including Aurora. Our mission at Victim Services is to provide responsive, supportive, and coordinated services to assist persons affected by crime or tragic circumstance. We are a not-for-profit charitable organization that works in partnership with York Regional Police, the OPP, and York Fire Services. We are a separate entity with a confidentiality policy as a justice partner model. We provide 24-hour crisis intervention support that's trauma-informed and trauma-focused. We assist with cognitive and emotional processing in the immediate aftermath of crime and tragic circumstances. We provide practical assistance, connections to community referrals, and supports. And I forgot to click. My apologies, everyone. I'm a little shaken. We provide services to individuals within our community. Oops. I don't know how to go back. Oh, here we go. We provide support to persons over the age of 16 and persons under the age of 16 with parental consent. Support is provided to an immediate survivor, their family members, neighbors, friends, on cases including intimate partner violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, traffic and fire fatalities, homicide, attempted homicide, sudden death, suicide, robbery, elder abuse, family violence, and much more. Some of our programs include our on-scene crisis response program, where we attend a home, a hospital, a crime scene, or a police station to provide assistance on any of those cases. We also have a telephone crisis response. So if an incident occurs at 2 a.m. in the morning, and let's say it's a domestic violence incident occurs at 2 a.m. in the morning, and she wants to put her wee ones to bed and doesn't want to have someone at her home, we can talk to her on the phone at that time to make sure that she's got support and knows what's going to happen in the criminal justice system in the morning. There's a safety plan, and we can assess whether she needs some practical tools, including how do you explain to your children that their dad is not there or their mom is no longer in their home. We have a suicide and a homicide bereavement support group that's quite unique here in York Region. There used to be one in Toronto, and that's not in existence anymore. So it's the only one in the GTA that's providing services, which is separate from any other type of grief program that we run, in that there's a lot of trauma that's associated with suicide and a lot of stigma. We also run a program called Project Angel, which I'm happy to say, if you all remember, you supported this program. So it's a program that's an emergency alarm for persons at high risk of experiencing violence from an intimate partner. So it's basically a necklace that goes around a person's neck. And when they depress it, it's a rare alarm that goes directly to Northern 911. Most other alarms go to alarm companies. This goes to Northern 911, where they get a live operator that says fire, police, or medical services. And it also on one side of the screen shows a GPS so that we know where the client is. And on the other side of the screen, it shows all the details of who the victim is, how many children are involved, where they go to school, so that the police can verify the safety of every person in the family when the alarm is activated. We had an alarm activated just last week here in Aurora. We have a victim quick response program, and that provides financial assistance for persons who've been victimized by crime. So if an offender has, in an intimate partner violence incident, for example, has broken a window and we need to repair it, or broken a lock, in homicide cases, it helps to cover some of the costs of the funeral, which, as you know, with homicide can be quite expensive. Counseling, if there's not publicly funded counseling available. Access to transportation if they need it to go to a hospital, a shelter. We have a volunteer program. We currently have 80 volunteers that go out on scene with trained social workers to provide assistance on scene or through the telephone. And then lastly, we have the crisis therapy dog program. So if a child is coming in to give a statement, we know that animals can help regulate individual's nervous system. So a child can have a dog that they pet while they give their statement, basically. Here in the town of Aurora in 2025, we had 437 incidents, which resulted in 728 clients living in Aurora just in 1 year that received supports from Victim Services of York Region. One of the cases that we have heard in the news is a husband of missing Aurora woman charged with second-degree murder. In a case like that, we would go out and provide support to next of kin. We would help them explain anything to children and how they can process that information in relation to a homicide. A homicide occurred here in Aurora where the young children, the mother was killed and the father was sent in custody, and next of kin had to move into the home where the incident occurred. And as you can imagine, for anyone who's ever gotten a speeding ticket or been in a car accident, it's called the Baynard-Madoff effect. You can never go past the place where you got a speeding ticket and not slow down. Your brain instinctively remembers, the same as a car accident. The body remembers. So it was our responsibility to try and help these children go back into a home where they knew their mother had been killed. So we would do things like try to come up with very cognitive specific activities. So when they go back into the home, they're not having free will thinking. They're very focused on what the activity is, which would be doing a hunt in different rooms to find an actual item. And in that item, they would have to open a gift. And when they'd open the gift, that would be to create a new memory in each of those rooms. And that would be a slow process over a period of time to make sure that they could effectively return back to their home, basically, as an example of the types of supports that we would provide. What's our value to our community? We help reduce the risk of post-traumatic stress disorder, which means that it allows community members to get back to work if they need to, allows children to get back to school. It reduces the cost on our medical system. It reduces the cost on our social services system. So, for example, there's a car accident and we say to Timmy, who's 7, mom was killed in a car accident. We know what fires together and wires together. So if Timmy thinks the word accident is fired and wired together, and when he hears that, he automatically recalls that his mother was killed in a car accident. His executive functioning goes online and he's in fight, flight, or freeze. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that when we speak to Timmy about what happened, that we're not using words or things that have instant recall. Because what's one of the words that we hear in school all the time? Oh, it's just an accident. Don't worry, it's just an accident. Now, Timmy's executive functioning has gone offline again and again and again. And then we wonder why Timmy doesn't do well in school and why he's not going to have a job later in life. We are actively involved in safety planning for any human trafficking, sexual assault, domestic violence case. We reduce the rates of recantation, which is really common for survivors. The likelihood to say that it didn't occur because they're concerned about repercussions or future violence. There's a higher result in people saying that they're satisfied with the criminal justice system. They make better witnesses when it comes time to testify because they've received support. And we offer a confidential, safe space. And I have time to spare. I have one ask. Victim Services is hosting our annual lip sync battle, September 24th. We're hoping that you save the date, that you come and support our cause here in our community as a vital, essential services. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, can I get a motion to receive the presentation? Councillor Reese, Councillor Thompson, Councillor Gardner, go ahead.
Hi. Sounds like a very good, very important, very needed service. And of course, we never think that these things are going to happen to us, but it's really comforting to know that you're there if we should need you. Thank you.
And at any point, need that support.
Thank you.
Councillor Reese.
Gillian, thanks very much for being here. I'm glad you came here to do this presentation because of the awareness that is necessary. I had the unfortunate circumstance where I had to refer someone to the police and they got into victim services and they came out and they felt that was a tremendous experience. They triaged them correctly. They got them to the right people. And in fact, it was a good experience as bad as it was. So I want to thank you. Every time I see you and your people at an event, I go up and thank them as well because they do a tremendous job. So now one question, you're all civilians, correct?
Oh, yes, correct. We are a completely separate entity. The nice thing about donating to Victim Services is that Victim Services came to be as a result of an inquest that was a homicide suicide. And as a result, the police made a promise many years ago that I've never updated that says that they will continue to pay for our space, our computers, and our phones. So any donation to Victim Services goes to direct client service delivery. We don't have administrative overcost, which is quite unique for not-for-profit organizations. But it does end up becoming confusing because we think that we're police officers and we're not. We are a separate entity.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Gillian, I want to thank you for coming. The work that you guys do is incredible and it's so important. I mean, I know from experience, you guys came and helped myself and my family during a difficult time last year when my dad passed. And if it wasn't for you guys, I think it would have been even more difficult. And, you know, I just can't speak enough about what the work that you guys do, and thank you for all you do for our communities. Council, I'll call the vote. Thank you, Gillian. That carries. We have 5.3. Melanie and Patricia, Southlake Health Foundation regarding Nature's Emporium Run for Southlake Community Spirit Award presentation. And Mr. Freeman.
Joined by, it's Melanie, and I'm joined by John and Brian, two members of the Aurora community. Patricia couldn't join us today, but I'm very excited to award the town of Aurora for the first time ever, the Community Spirit Award for the Nature's Emporium Run for Southlake. As you might recall, the Community Spirit Award is for the town that had the largest percent of their population come out to the event. So we are so thrilled to be able to recognize Aurora for this accomplishment and thank the entire Aurora community through the mayor and council for coming out and supporting this event. The 2026 event was record-breaking in every stretch of the word. We had over 1,800 participants and raised just over $520,000 to support Southlake Health. So thank you all so much. And if you're amenable, we'd love a photo.
Council, can I just get to receive the presentation first? Councilor Gillian, Councilor Weiss, is there any comments, questions first? Otherwise, we'll get up for a photo. Councilor Gardner.
Hi, through Mr. Mayor, I'm just curious to know if that figure that you raised, that amount of money, was gross or net?
That is the amount, the total amount raised that doesn't include deduct expenses.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm just gonna say, Melanie, I mean, you know how we feel about Southlake. I mean, and I've mentioned this many times, it is our hospital, and I think it's quite clear. That's how Aurorans feel, considering the turnout that they came out in record numbers so that they would win this award. So, you know, I'm very proud of all the Aurorans that have come out and supported the Run for Southlake and supported our hospital because it's much needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Council? By the way, that cup looks bigger than the Mayor's Challenge Cup. Thank you. Call the vote. That carries. Move to delegations, 6.1, Susan Morton-Leonard, resident, item 8.8.1. Just remind delegates, you have 5 minutes. You'll hear a chime with 1 minute remaining, and at 5 minutes, mic will turn off. Welcome, you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, council members. What an evening. A friend recently shared she had approached the Aurora Cultural Center to partner with her in offering floral arranging workshops. Although the ACC loved the idea, they had no more program space. My friend, a taxpayer, lives with her young family in Ward 1. We both agreed Victoria Hall would have been an ideal event space. Instead, my friend went to Newmarket and had a successful and profitable Mother's Day floral workshop with 30 participants. These people didn't see or spend money in Aurora that day. How many losses can the ACC and ultimately Aurora's downtown sustain when the community cannot use our public buildings? Having family who worked in the restaurant industry, including the now closed Aqua Grill and Bonsai Hill on Yonge Street, the objective is to have repeat clientele who support the eatery, not the events and the activities outside the restaurant. Where is the rationale in turning a small heritage hall with a history of only public use into a private restaurant housed within a public square designated to provide activities and events for the community? Would the restaurant's manager cooperate with staff in the square to avoid competition between sound, light, and safety? Are the cafes and the restaurants within close walking distance not sufficient? And why would Aurora's taxpayers desire funding another renovation for a publicly owned heritage building within their civic square if they can't use it or benefit in any way? Will further tax dollars be poured into supporting a for-profit restaurant similar to the recently opened Slabtown Armory? The Slabtown Armory restaurant is still in the honeymoon phase. We don't know if they'll succeed long-term, especially when Niagara College of Food and Wine did not. Does the town's public square and surrounding residential neighborhood need to be infiltrated with further businesses, bleeding light, sound, garbage, and safety concerns when the Yonge Street corridor, which is better suited, slowly loses life? As a member of the inaugural ACC board and the only board member who participated in the Promenade study, the 2010 vision was to support the ACC's business model and agreements with the town through offering programs in Victoria Hall and the newly acquired Armory. Today, public use of the Armory is no more, and we are dangerously close because of strong mayor powers of losing yet another public building. I would suggest the municipality is making a grave error by not living up to the agreements with the ACC and the community at large in regards to town-owned buildings. There is already strong public concern, not about renovating Vic Hall, but about the uses, which have been omitted from the public discussions, even though uses dictate the renovation. Form follows function. Even councillors have been hog-tied in not being able to speak about the use publicly. People can see the commercial kitchen on the plan and know there is a lack of transparency, therefore losing trust in present council members who are trying to ram a decision through just before the upcoming election. That's why tonight I am publicly challenging the present mayor who has declared his candidacy and is the rumored author of the restaurant plan, along with others running for mayor or councillor, to not sign tonight, to instead rise up in the name of democracy and pose the uses of Victoria Hall as an election issue before the people of Aurora. Let the voters decide what will become of Victoria Hall.
Councillor, can I get a motion to receive and refer? Councillor Gardner, Councillor Weiss, any comments, questions? Councillor Gallo, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Ms. Morton-Leonard. It's been a while, and it's always a pleasure to hear from you, whether we disagree or agree. It doesn't really matter. Your perspective is always valued for myself, and I'm sure the rest of council. So thank you very much for coming.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, thank you for coming this evening. Call the vote. That carries. 6.2, Greg Smith, resident, regarding 8.8.1. Mr. Smith, welcome. You have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
Good evening, council, staff, and residents. My name is Greg Smith, been a resident of Aurora for 36 years. I'm here to speak about heritage permits, PDS 2026-044, and I've been told I can only speak about heritage permits. I have a red shirt on today. It seemed like an appropriate color as it's had impact in the past. I first want to thank all the community recognition award winners last evening, including Doug Steele, Citizen of the Year, for all their work on heritage permits and other things in our community. And I thank you, council, for your commitment to preserving heritage. Since 1883, Vic Hall has been a community use church, then a public school, our public library, and finally, as community meeting space. We are considering approving heritage permits. Why am I here? I haven't been here for a long time. I'm here because my good friend, John Abel, former deputy mayor, who tragically lost his life after a long battle to maintain community space for community use. If he was here today, he would speak against issuing a heritage permit at this time. Victoria Hall, as was stated in the previous delegation about the armory, the great late Yogi Berra would say, it's deja vu all over again. In 2026, refurbishing Victoria Hall and the need for heritage permits wasn't on my radar. I don't think it was on very many residents' radar. I guess I missed all the public meetings with residents. I missed the presentation of the business plan. I missed the presentation of design options. I missed the presentations on the expression of interest for community use. So here are we down to heritage permits, yes or no. I met with Councillor Kim about heritage permits, and we discussed about how the library board uses a tool to determine the value of community good that a library provides. I asked if such a tool had been used to determine community good of Victoria Hall. He was unaware of it. Do you know that for every $1 that's spent with a library, it turns into $6 of community good? I want to thank Harold for listening and engaging on heritage permits. I appreciate it, my friend. And to Councillor Gillian, I want to do a public apology. You didn't deserve to hear my frustration. The last I heard about Victoria Hall was in December. I read it in the People's Republic of Aurora budget. There was a $500,000 placeholder, but I guess this placeholder's been there for many, many years. Lo and behold, I hear that in the new year that we are talking about upping the budget to over 2 million. I was like, we're nearing the end of this term. The building hasn't been used for over 8 years. Why is the rush? We are here in the middle of a municipal election, and I thank Mayor Mrakas and Councillor Gallo for declaring their candidacy for our next mayor. We're less than 5 months from the election and what will be substantially a new council. In the past, town has not made major decisions on important projects with only a few months remaining in the term. Basically, next month is the last cycle of this term. We should leave it for the next council to decide. Let's hit pause on issuing heritage permits. Heritage Advisory Committee wants to see design options. Public petition is going around and will continue through the election process. The outcry of residents against issuing the permits is loud and growing. Let's engage residents during the campaign, show design options, business plan, rationale of commercial versus community use before issuing heritage permits. Let the residents have their say at the door with candidates. If after a new council is elected, armed with residents' input, the new council can make a decision on issuing said heritage permits. Please press pause. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Council, can I get a motion to receive and refer? Councilor Thompson, Councilor Weiss, any comments or questions for the delegate? Seeing none, thank you for coming this evening. Call the vote. What carries? Next, we have 6.3, David Hurd, resident regarding 8.9.1. Mr. Hurd, welcome. You have 5 minutes. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council and citizens. The top hat is to remind me that I bought this at the first powwow here in Aurora, made by a wonderful First Nations woman. It's to remind me I want to acknowledge our First Nations, for without them, there is no R.A.I.L. For many years, maybe since childhood, I envisioned R.A.I.L. From an Eaton's catalog, wishing for a train set to counting freight cars here as a child in the 1960s, I always wanted my own train. I think we all did mostly. So how do we transfer that passion into 4 weeks of a wonderful train celebration? With hundreds of hours of planning, envisioning, next slide, please, and envisioning, network to know who to go for success as a team with staff, committees, and citizens, I believe we're on our way to a potential incredible event. We see before in a mid to May to June, several examples of planning of events that are of incredible potential. A lot of, again, footwork and networking and meeting with staff, some around this table, people like Adam Robb, he's been very helpful, Councillor Weiss, people coming to my gallery like Mayor Mrakas and seeing the potential of a back place for me to work. And next slide, please. Under all aboard, these are just an example of some of the partners and groups I've worked with. You know, for many years now, I've been involved in the community garage sale, the farmers market, passionate about the pet cemetery project for decades. I think I've proven if I put my mind to something, I'm willing to go full steam ahead. So there are more partners. And by the way, my apologies to Greg Smith with the Odd Fellows. Many years ago, we started discussing R.A.I.L and their potential of some networking and partnerships with Odd Fellows groups who have wonderful train sets available, historic ones. So my apologies. Next slide, please. So under the strategic plan, I want to give an example. So under strong community involvement back in earlier than 1967, the Aurora Community Center, after a horrific fire, Community Center became a project that was about the whole community, everyone involved, the town, the citizens, and look what we ended up with, a wonderful historic facility. Under entrepreneurship, the reason why the Historical Society became a very important cog in this project was it didn't limit us on grants. We could apply for grants that were available to corporations and private groups. We could also apply for grants that were limited to NFPs. So they were a very important cog. Team grant writing, I believe in the people I've talked to. I've had many conversations with Mr. Rose and his team and others. And after doing a lot of research, I know that there are grants out there that we will achieve them. And if we don't, we will continue on and go to the private sector and make sure that this is viable, feasible, and performs really, really well like a wonderful steam engine. The budget is based on, because we're in early stages, 4 events, 4 weeks. And so let's say we had $250,000, splitting that 5 ways, 4 weeks. And then the last week is based on merchandising, promotion, etc. Could we turn a profit? I'm very proud to say I've talked to some staff and they do believe in this project that maybe we could actually make some revenue out of it. I believe we can. Next slide, please. And lastly, focusing on what R.A.I.L is. No, I'm not going to tell you what the acronym is. We're planning actually a little contest, see if people can figure out what it is. And it tells Aurora's story. Adam Robb knows it. You think he's the only one. And it's pretty powerful. It does tell our story. But it's literally about stories sell in our unique location in central Ontario with teamwork, made a global impact in early Canada and then across the globe. Last slide, please. And this is what I really believe in, and some people like Councillor Weiss pushed me towards Helix at Seneca. I come from the autism sector as a specialist, not an entrepreneur. Learning some new things, along with my Seneca being there, only a little over a decade ago. The strength model, I look around this table and some of the people, I've worked with a lot of staff shoulder to shoulder as a volunteer in many events. And I know who's really good at what.
Mr. Hart, if Council, how much longer do you have? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Council, can I get a motion to receive, refer? Councillor Gardner, Councillor Gillian, any comments, questions? Councillor Weiss?
Dave, thanks very much. And if there's anybody that can do something historical in this town, I'm sure it's going to be you. We have a long-standing and important relationship with the railroad in this community, as you well know. So I think this has a lot of legs to it, and I'm on side with it. I have a feeling that the A in the R.A.I.L has something to do with Aurora, though. So I think we're looking at 3 out of 4 for it. So thanks very much for your presentation today.
Or it might be awesome.
Huh?
All right. Any other questions? Sure. Thank you for coming out this evening. Council, call the vote. Carries. 6.4, Steve Fleck, resident, regarding 8.8.1. Welcome. You have 5 minutes. Floor is yours.
Mayor Mrakas, members of council, and fellow citizens in Aurora in the gallery, thank you for your time tonight. My name is Steve Fleck. I've lived in Ward 5 of Aurora for over 20 years. I want to thank Dave Hurd for that. R.A.I.L, as Dave hinted at and Councillor Weiss hinted at, it's been an important thing, that rail line, that station in Aurora's history. That importance goes on today. I took the GO train, a jam-packed GO train into the city earlier this week for a meeting, and that importance carries on today. So I hope we get behind that project. I stand before you tonight for the second time regarding Victoria Hall. Before I go any further, I want to be crystal clear that I am in no way opposed to the renovations and the preservation of Victoria Hall. There's been some talk recently in Aurora political circles about accountability and transparency. What I would like to see is more accountability and transparency when it comes to what's going on with Victoria Hall. Put simply, what will this historic building be used for when the renovations are finished? I put the same question to you, Mayor Mrakas, and council back in February when this news of the blowing up to the $2 million came to light. And despite committing over $2 million to this project, we still do not know definitively what we will be getting when the dust settles on these important renovations. My understanding of accountability and transparency is keeping valued stakeholders fully appraised of what's going on. And since Victoria Hall is owned by the town of Aurora, and thus all of us, we are all stakeholders in this, and we would like to know what the intended use of the renovated Victoria Hall will be. Thank you.
Council, can I get a motion to receive for partner, Councillor Gallo? Any questions for the delegate? Seeing none, thank you for coming out this evening. Call the vote. That carries. So we'll move to consent agenda. It's number 7. Someone want to move consent agenda? Councillor Weiss, Councillor Thompson, any comments, questions on the consent agenda? All vote. It carries. Are there any items that anyone wants pulled? Councillor Kim?
8.3.2, please.
Anyone else? Yep. Everything left except for except for the 9s. What was that? 891? Councillor Gardner?
8.3.1, 8.3.2, 8.4.1. That's all for now.
Eight point 8.5, has it been pulled yet? No.
No, not yet. Ms. Gardner? Yeah, I'll bring it together. Councillor Gardner? Do you have something else?
I do. Was 8.4.2 pulled?
No.
851?
And you have all new information?
Yes.
Okay.
So was 8.8.1 pulled?
No. You want to pull that one?
Yes, please. Uh, 8.8.2 for comment and 8.8.3 for recorded vote. I think 9.1 has to be pulled with 8.85.
We'll take care of
You
that,
got
Councillor.
that? Okay.
We basically pulled everything, so we're rehashing the whole committee meeting. We got a motion to approve the remaining items, 8.8.4, 8.9.2, and 8.10.1. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Kim. All vote. That carries. 8.3.1, Councillor Gardner, you pulled this one. Do you want to move the recommendation? Someone want to move the recommendation? Shade structures. 8.3.1, Councillor Gillian, seconder. Councillor Kim, go ahead, Councillor Gardner.
Thank you. I didn't ask last, whose is this? Oh, Phil? I didn't ask last week, but I was looking again at the shade structures and I'd like to know, has there ever been a wind assessment about these?
Mr. Rose?
Through Mr. Mayor, a wind assessment. To my knowledge, no. There was a shade or shadow study that's been done, but not a wind assessment as far as I know. I'm happy to look into that and report back, but I don't believe so. No, Councillor.
Councillor?
We've had some pretty fierce wind. I would like to know how they do. I don't know if they've been tested, but I would like to know how they do in the wind. And I'd also like to know if we could put an awning on the bridge. If we could put an awning on the bridge that would help us with this cause.
Mr. Rose?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding the bridge, there is an architectural feature called the Brise Soleil that's been installed on the bridge. It's basically shutters that instead of going up and down, go out from the. So that's meant to provide shade for the bridge itself. So I don't think there's any more requirement from a shade, and we haven't received any, I think, complaints about the shade. And the way that we've configured the seating in there, people are typically away from the I guess south side. So I don't think there's a need for it. And the Brise Soleil was meant to address the shade needs on the bridge itself. In terms of the shade structures that we're proposing for Mercopolis Platea, they are very similar to the ones that the Parks Division has used in different parks. So I did work with Ms. Teenkamp's staff to develop this report. There's a couple shade structure companies. I think John Abel Park is probably one of the most recent one that we use the same type of shade structure that we're proposing for Town Square. So they have been tested for wind. They're widely used in a lot of different town amenities and parks. So, but if there's any additional information you want specifically about wind readings or anything like that regarding Town Square specifically, I can certainly go back to the architectural team, the landscape architectural team that worked on Town Square and report back.
Thank you, through to Ms. Teenkamp. So these have been used successfully, and you don't have any particular concerns about wind.
Steenkamp?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, we don't.
Okay.
They're in numerous parks and they are engineered with wind shear considered.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions, comments? Call the vote. Carries. 8.3.2, Councillor Kim, you pulled this. Did you want to move the recommendation? Seconder. Councillor Gillian, thank you. Councillor Kim, go ahead.
To add a motion to add a clause that staff be directed to provide council with a copy of the Coconut Village Elevate Consulting Report in advance of the staff information report, please.
Seconder. Councillor Weiss. Yeah, that's it.
No, I think just one comment is that from speaking with staff and speaking with the author of the consultant report, there was extensive outreach to the community. There's a lot of depth of knowledge and experience and recommendations listed in the report. I think before the staff comes back with their informational report, I think it would behoove us to have a read of it and see how the solutions are structured in the report. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Councillor Gardner, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In our discussions last week or a couple of weeks ago, I'd like to point out that in the recommendation, which is point A, 2.A, that is supported by going down to page 5, I believe, from the committee. That is option 2. And again, preserve the cemetery in its current physical condition with the existing offensive language in place, but ensure that there is a designated on-site, that there is clear interpretive. At the beginning of the cemetery, when you come in, people are very aware of what they're going to see, so they can choose to come in or not. And it could also be a point of education. I was speaking with some members of the community who were involved in this, and they felt that leaving in place an education was the proper way to go. I see Fiona's in attendance this evening, and this is the information that I have from speaking with her. And that's what I would like to see as the option.
Ms. Reese?
Sir. Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everybody for the work that's been done on this file, and Ms. Johnson getting back to me with the information that there are no policies in place elsewhere from national and provincial. As I said at the committee of the whole, I value the input of the Heritage Advisory Committee and also the consultants.
Councillor Weiss, I'm just going to pull everyone back in to the amendment. Right now, we're speaking to
amendment now?
Yeah, Councillor Kim's amendment to add that the consultant's report be provided to council before the information report comes back to us.
I'll withdraw.
So, okay, thank you. Any comments or questions on the amendment? Okay, I'll call the vote on the amendment. That carries back to the main motion as amended, which included, your amendments are there, Councillor. No, I know. Yeah, they're there. Councillor Kim, you did have the floor. You okay?
I'm done.
Okay. Councillor Weiss, go ahead now.
Roughly
Now you're on the main motion. So
Great,
you can
thank
go
you.
ahead.
So again, thanks for the work done in the file by everybody, the committee and the consultants as well. I remain opposed to keeping these monuments in the public realm, as they're offensive to any reasonable person, in my opinion. They represent a sense of disrespect and racism that is not tolerated in present times. And if maintained in a place as suggested in option 1, for example, they may have unintended consequences of creating or advancing hatred. They may incite graffiti and damage, public opposition. And I don't think that's the purpose of the pet cemetery at all. I appreciate the offer of a learning opportunity, but when our school system will refuse to visit the cemetery, we should listen. If not for our rationale of preserving history, but for respect for the learning environment and provincial policy and school boards. I'll be voting against the option 1 if it remains, and I'll be happy to hear what my colleagues say about whether we should have an amendment, but I'd like to have an amendment here that is not listed in the 3 that were presented, and that the offending monuments are kept in a place with interpretive language that explains context, but kept face down with no ability for the public to disturb them. So basically what this is saying, instead of taking them out of the situation and having something in place, we're going to keep them there as a monument to the pet that was there, but not have the offensive language present and facing the public, but will use the interpretive activity that is important here to explain the context. So if I could have, Linda, is that?
Councillor, I'll get clarification from the clerk, but I do believe it's slightly contrary to the amendment that we approved at committee, which is on the recommendation right now, which is for staff to come back with a report with options. What you're suggesting is we're providing a definitive answer tonight. So I think that's contrary to what was proposed, but if the clerk disagrees with me.
Through you, Your Worship. No, that's correct. If council wants to consider another motion, I would request that you vote on the motion first, and then if it fails, you can put forward a contradictory motion.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So basically we're still getting a report back to council with options.
For another time.
Yes.
That works for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? I'll call the vote. That carries. So council, we do have to take our health break. Council will move to 8.4.1. Councillor Gardner, you pulled this one. What did you want to move?
Yes, if you just let me bring it up on my screen. I just wanted to say that
I
I
need you to
oh.
move something, Councillor.
um,
You want to move to receive?
okay, for now.
Thank you. Seconder? Receive it, Councillor Gillian. Go ahead, Councillor Gardner.
I appreciate having the second independent salary review for clarity. And now that we've had two reviews about council compensation, both findings say that Aurora councillors are extremely underpaid. And Mr. Mayor, I believe in various forms of media and maybe in person, you said that council members were greedy for wanting a raise. And I would say that you're completely wrong on that.
Well, I'll call it a question of privilege. I never used that word, but I would expect an apology on that, Councillor.
You'd expect an apology from me for you
I
calling
never
us
used that
greedy?
word. You just said that word. I
Oh,
never
Mr.
said that
Mayor,
word.
that's not true. I know you have.
So you're not going to apologize?
Me? Absolutely not. I
Okay,
believe that you
well
should be
then,
apologizing to
Until you
me.
apologize, we're going to cut your mic.
You're not going to allow me to speak for the rest of the meeting?
Until you apologize, no.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you are, okay. Put it to a vote. I challenge you that I should give you an apology for calling the councillors who wanted to raise greedy.
All those in favor of my ruling? Opposed? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Carter. Finish.
Find you very interesting, Mr. Mayor.
I find you very interesting too.
Good, we agree on that then. Agree on something. So it's at this point, I would like to hear what other councillors think, but I would like to endorse a raise. It will be for the next council. I think that it's more than fair, but I'd like to know what other people on council think, or if they don't think.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. That carries. 8.4.2, Councilor Renner, you pulled this one. Do you want to move the recommendation? It's just to receive. Thank you. Seconder. Thompson, go ahead, Councilor Renner.
Mr. Mayor, I shouldn't have pulled this. My apology. I wanted to speak about Victoria Hall, but this is documents.
Any other comments or questions? Call the vote. That carries. 8.5.1. Mr. Gardner, you pulled this one. Did you want to move the recommendation?
I did move the recommendation.
Seconder. Councilor Gallo, go ahead, Councilor Gardner.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Ms. Rachel Wainwright Van Kessel, who was unfortunately quite unwell last time I asked questions. I apologize, I didn't realize. I like these new reserve categories. I'd like to know if there's going to be any effect on the deficit in the repair and replacement of infrastructure category reserve.
Swayman Van Kessel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the closing of the engineering fee reserve and consolidating that with the roads asset management reserve does contribute an extra $1.365 million to asset management. So that's the only part that does have any impact on asset management reserves. Everything else is about the different reserve classifications and the definitions on the new template.
Thank you. Through you again, Mr. Mayor. And going back to the budget we had a couple of years ago that said we were in deficit in the repair and replacements reserve by $53.5 million. Do you have any idea what that deficit would be now?
Swayman Van Kessel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't have those numbers handy, but they are looked at on a regular basis. And I know the engineering team, there's an asset management group within there now, and they do look at that information carefully as well.
Councillor.
Through Mr. Mayor, could you kindly provide that for the next committee of a whole? Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Councillor Reese.
Just a question. I'm not sure if it was covered last at the committee of the whole, but I'm concerned about the Heritage Fund. The fund that we're building here and the reserve that we're building is different from the Heritage Reserve. Is that correct or not correct? Through you, Mayor.
Swayman Van Kessel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So it is the same reserve. It's just modifying the definition of the reserve. So the uses of the reserve to include other related programs and initiatives. So it's just making the definition a little bit more broad, but it's not a separate reserve. It's just the impact on that definition.
Councillor.
So that sounds like a good thing, but are there any changes in terms of how the access to that reserve is being changed or managed through you, Mayor?
Swayman Van Kessel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So typically that reserve, the use would be approved through budget, whether it be capital or operating, depending on the type of use that's for. This just broadens the definition a little bit to allow for some other programs or initiatives that maybe not specific to the narrower definition that was there before.
Okay, thanks. And similarly, I see where we have a new affordable housing initiative, which I think is a great idea, and it's being funded. But is the cash in lieu funding of this through development, is it going to have a negative effect on the parks cash in lieu that we have right now for the way we use that through you, Mayor?
Swayman Van Kessel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the cash in lieu that we receive for parkland is a separate reserve, and those funds go directly there. There are other cash in lieu related items which relate to the policy that came to council a little while ago, and it's developer contributions to the new affordable housing reserve, which relate to the affordable housing action plan that came to council.
Right.
So it's the ones that are defined in there. There'll be the contributions to the reserve. The cash in lieu parkland still goes to that specific reserve.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure they were going to remain separate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Call the vote. That carries. 8.1, Councillor Garner, you pulled this one. Did you want to move the recommendation? Someone want to move the recommendation? Mr. Thompson? Councillor Kemp? Go ahead, Councillor Garner.
Perhaps those who came through the front door this evening noticed that we have a plaque. It's the Prince of Wales Award for outstanding stewardship of the built heritage. It's from Heritage Canada. It's the highest award a municipality could receive. We also have, should just give me a second. We also have received the Lieutenant Governor's Ontario Heritage Award, and we won this Provincial Award, again for leadership in heritage conservation. Recently, we've just won the Gold Hermes Creative Award for the collaborative work with the War Memorial Centennial Project. I'd have to vote against this, Mr. Mayor. This giving a heritage permit to Victoria Hall would be contrary to everything that I've just mentioned, contrary to the years of work of Jacqueline Stewart and Les Oliver and John McIntyre. We're known as a heritage community that respects heritage buildings. The Heritage Committee was unanimous except for one vote that this was not respectful. The intended renovation was not respectful to Victoria Hall, and I certainly can't support it. Thank you.
You, Councillor Gallo, go ahead.
Thank you. I won't repeat what I said last time. I'm continue to not be in favor of this. I just wanted a little bit of clarity on one thing. Through you to Mr. Ramuno or whomever, Adam. If this heritage permit application does not pass, does the renovation continue?
Mr. Rob.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So in order for construction to proceed and building permits to be issued, there needs to be heritage clearance, which is provided through this heritage permit. So this heritage permit needs approval.
So that through you, just for clarity, the renovation would not continue if we don't approve this heritage permit. And it says so much in the executive summary. On the second point, council has approved a capital project to refurbish the building, and heritage permit approval is required prior to construction commencing. The reason I bring that up is because I just want to provide clarity to the public, because it's been publicly said, and I'll read it. For clarity, council met in closed session to debate on May 12th, then returned to open session that same night, where the decision was finalized by a 4-3 majority and ratified through a duly passed confirmatory bylaw in accordance with the procedural bylaw. Accordingly, no further council vote is required on the building's use or renovation. So that's clearly in the public realm, clearly not accurate, as we've just confirmed here tonight. And I just wanted to make sure that the public is well aware of the fact that that's an error, and that absolutely the renovation council has to vote for this permit in order for the renovation to continue. While I'm not that hopeful, but you never know until somebody pushes the button, that we do, as the delegate said, push pause, reassess, have the Heritage Committee that's there for this specific reason really look at this and allow them to make a proper judgment call. And I'm in full favor of pushing pause and allowing the next council to deal with this. But I did want to clear the public record of what's been put out there.
Councillor Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't go through my objections again the last week, but I will like to say that I appreciate the delegations. I appreciate the work that the people in Ward 1 have done in order to oppose this, the petition that is out there. And I respect both their interest and intuition as well as that of the Heritage Advisory Committee. And I guess all I'm asking here is for one of the people who have voted to approve this to rethink what this is. I mean, when you change a heritage building, you change it forever. And that is a very important thing. It's not about urgency. I think it's better for us to have some thoughtful pause about this and then allow it to come back at the next term of council. I'm not so suggesting that this should be a an item for a referendum vote or the rest of it, but I really think that we deserve, our heritage buildings deserve some time. And I would hope that somebody would join the other three people, or other two people who have opposed this. And frankly, from a Ward 1 perspective, I'm very close to the people in Ward 1. I'm very close to their interests, and I want to respect all the time that they've come forward. That's my job. And I'm just hoping that other council members here can think about that with respect to their own wards and their representation of their residents. So I'm just imploring that we have a little bit of a rethink, and we take a look at the importance of heritage and we give it a little bit of time. It's not so urgent at this moment. Thank you.
Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. Through to Mr. Robb. Adam, as our heritage planner, I'm sure you're well aware of what happened at the Heritage Advisory Committee, as well as at the last meeting at the Committee of Whole. We heard from some members of the committee, as well as received emails to express their concerns. We've also seen and heard people discuss this as being contrary to heritage values or not being respectful. But I'd very much like to hear your professional opinion as our heritage planner and author of this report, how you view this.
Mr. Robb.
Yes, certainly. And through you, Mr. Mayor, I can confirm, as was discussed at the Heritage Committee Heritage Committee meeting, that the vote wasn't fully unanimous. First and foremost, there was one member that did support the design and has continued to affirm their support, but that is one member. And then, to be direct, in my professional planning and heritage professional opinion, the design as proposed does reflect best practices in the field. I say this on the basis that it preserves all the designated features in the heritage bylaw, which I do have here and can read out, but those includes the steep gable roof, the Gothic windows, the bricks, the side buttresses. These are all effectively unimpacted by the proposal. Furthermore, I think the project and the scope of work at hand actually goes a step beyond and enhances these features, which is something that Victoria Hall needs to have done. Secondly, I think from a pure design perspective, this really surrounds the principle of legibility. And in plain terms, legibility is about having an old historic asset and whenever there's a new addition considered for it, that new addition needs to be a product of its own time. It needs to be clearly legible between the old and new. This allows the building itself to be readable over time and for future generations as well, and actually then to be also reversible, which is another buzzword principle in the sense that we clearly distinguish 50, 100 years from now, which was a good question posed at the Heritage Committee. What happens to this new addition? It can be replaced, it can be upgraded at any point in time because you have a clear distinction of what is old and what is new. In my professional opinion too, I believe, again, speaking to the rear addition, it is of modest scale. The current addition at the back, I'll be quite honest, is unsightly and unsympathetic. And I think this certainly upgrades and enhances the user experience and the visual experience of the property. And accounts for better accessibility as well, which is something that we discussed at our Heritage Advisory Committee as well. And not to speak directly for the architects and their design rationale, but I think a big component of that was making the building accessible. And the most opportune location for that was towards that rear to make that sort of the new primary entrance so as not to affect the historic entryway on Mosley and not to impact any mature trees on the property. I also think this reflects good design because the design as presented is ultimately one, in simple terms, is a shell that we're looking at. And what I mean by that is it's highly adaptable to a multitude of potential uses. I think being able to accommodate a wide variety of uses and be preserved through the work that this council has the opportunity to do now not only provides benefit today, but ultimately for long term, for future generations to consider how this property will evolve, how uses will evolve over decades, over a century, so that we're not looking at anything in isolation. This is a good project that can last and benefit the community and many generations beyond our own.
Councillor.
Thank you, Adam. I just wanted to say to the committee members, I certainly appreciate hearing their views and any concerns that they might have. But at the same time, I also value the professional opinions of our staff.
Councillor Gillian.
Thank you. This has been a really tough topic to talk about. And I want to begin by acknowledging that I know that issues have become deeply emotional for a lot of people in our community, including myself. I've received many emails, phone calls, messages from residents on both sides of the spectrum. And I want people to know that I've really taken the genuine time to listen to everybody and reflect on everything that was shared with me. And I also want to acknowledge something that had happened here tonight. And with public conversations and everything around all the emotional community issues can become very difficult. And it's not always easy for somebody to publicly step back and offer an apology. So I recognize that took humility, and I do appreciate that. I also understand that some people I respect and care about may not agree with me, and that is not something I dismiss very lightly. In fact, it's taken a huge emotional toll on me and reflection of why I make the decisions that I do around the council table, looking at the policies and being able to make a decision that's honest and with my own integrity and my own principles. Victoria Hall is a very important piece of our community's history, and I do think everyone involved, regardless of the position, can agree that we all want that's best for the town and for this building. And when I look at this matter for us tonight, I have to separate the broader political debate from the specific decision that's being tied to this heritage permit and the restoration work behind it. What I can say publicly is I know that council did vote to continue with this process and move forward. And as a result of that, we've had many reports and subsequently returned to council for consideration. And we've had many, much work, and consultants do a lot of work to get to this point. And for me, that shouldn't be dismissed. It's important that council's decisions and the previously established directions that were treated consistently and responsibly. And I really struggle with that idea of halting that restoration component of this project at this stage, particularly when the building has needed investment for many, many years. And we've seen that. We know that that exists. And I do feel that there's a bigger political debate here that's gone beyond in the actual restoration of the hall itself. Again, I appreciate that people have raised concerns about the process, the consultation, the future use of the building, and they are valid for people to express that. I totally respect it, and ultimately, I just may land a little bit differently than others. And at the end of the day, stewardship and fairness and the long-term interests of the town is what I'm really focusing on. I do want to reflect on some comments I think Councillor Gertner did say, and I wasn't going to say anything, but it was brought up. But Councillor, you did bring an amendment to budget specifically to support restoration for Victoria Hall. And it was something that you had specifically said that we need to bring this to code for, safety and whoever's going to occupy this and whoever's going to use it. So I was just a little bit surprised by some of the comments because I felt that you were somebody who was really behind wanting to bring this up to code as quickly as you possibly could within our means. Just going back on some of the comments about the historical aspect, again, like I'm looking at both sides, and I really do respect some of the comments from people in the community do have a professional background. And a member of the community who had said, and it stuck with me, it would be a loss to the community to take much of this agitated discussion seriously at the expense of ignoring the expertise that's leading the design and development of this project. It would be irresponsible, in my opinion, to waste time and money on unnecessary delays. The risk of delivering an inferior alternative design to garner the buy-in of those who struggle to understand how the guiding principles of the Ontario Heritage Toolkit work and application is not as necessary. And I'm not saying that everything that this person has said is a broad stroke. I do appreciate the comments, but at the same time, there's two sides that people are looking at this. I don't feel like there's anything holding me back about the design that's being presented with us today. For me, this is about moving the restoration forward. I don't want to have a political debate about what those future uses are. I'm sure we'll have a different conversation about that at a different time, but I need to separate the two.
Councillor Kemp.
Thank you. And I just want to thank Mr. Rob for his comments, because I was going to ask him for his perspective, because I value his heritage expertise. I found in my experience that sometimes there's a gap between approvable and good heritage planning. And sometimes, planners or people can approve that passes the minimum threshold. So just to kind of dig in a little bit deeper and just to feel more comfort, would you say that this is, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Rob, that this is just passes the minimum threshold, or this is excellent heritage planning?
Mr. Rob.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the question, Councillor. I think it exceeds the threshold that is established and is rooted in the professional opinion that I expressed just in my question moments ago. I can give some further background into that rationale and to why I think this, again, is good design and good heritage design. Not to get too overly detailed, but first and foremost, at a provincial level, we have these 8 guiding principles for the conservation of built heritage. One of those key principles is directly legibility. When we are considering additions to historic buildings, that addition needs to be a product of its own time, needs to be contemporary, so that you can clearly distinguish between the old and new. That comes directly from provincial policy. On top of that, we then have a layer at the federal level through Parks Canada's standards and guidelines. Parks Canada's language is much similar and says, paraphrasing to a degree, but that there should be no false sense of character or identity when considering additions to buildings. Again, that's a clear understanding that any addition needs to be a product of its own time, is allowed to use contemporary design so as to actually enhance the respect of the original historic fabric. And then lastly, on the absolute top row of the pyramid is international policy, guided actually from the UN and what's called the Venice Charter. This Venice Charter and the UN's doctrination around UNESCO World Heritage Sites speaks as well to clearly requiring distinguishability between old and new. So when I say my professional opinion, it's not only supported by the architect or the third-party heritage consultant that was also here and prepared that report attached to this report tonight. It's also supported by quite a large community, provincially, federally, and internationally, that have been embedded and enshrined these principles into our daily actions.
Councillor.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions? Councillor Gardner, go ahead. Second time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is in response to Councillor Gillian's comment. Of course, I want Victoria Hall to be rehabilitated. We have to. It's Ontario Heritage. We have no choice. But I can't support the size and the cost of the new structure. And I think it overwhelms the importance of Victoria Hall. It overwhelms in my opinion, the importance of its heritage. And that's a personal opinion. I'm not an expert, but that's what I think. And it's not a question. I don't like the implication. It's not a question of wanting to rehabilitate Victoria Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gallo, second time.
Thank you. Just two things as everyone's speaking comes to mind. The first one, and I mean absolutely no disrespect to staff, in particular, Mr. Rob, that I have a great deal of respect for you and your opinion. However, if I was a sitting member of the committee and I provided the vast majority, -1, provided an opinion, and a pretty in-depth opinion, and people on that committee that have a great deal of knowledge and history of the town, I would probably be thinking to myself, well, what do you need me for? If, again, no disrespect, if we're only going to follow a staff perspective, what do you need me for? And it really challenges why we need that committee. And I believe we could have probably even got that committee on board. And I'm going to be repeating myself, but I think the process was flawed. This should have gone to them before we pass the budget, before we have a full design. It should have been filtered through them way on in the beginning. So I hope they continue to be encouraged and that we still seek their opinion, and their opinion is still they feel their opinion is still valuable. The second thing, I can't help but to think about the amount of time and effort and design and money that we all want to make sure Victoria Hall is the best it can be. I can't help but to sit here and think about Hillary House. And just imagine if we put that kind of effort, money, design, and everything else towards an extremely important building that, quite frankly, is falling apart.
Any other comments, questions? Well, I want to begin by thanking everyone who came out tonight to express their opinions. Public input matters, and I appreciate every resident who took the time to speak. I recognize you represent the opinion of others, as I've heard many differing point of views when speaking to people around town. As members of council, it is our responsibility to listen to all viewpoints. Our responsibility is to consider all perspectives, all voices, all facts, and ultimately make decisions that are in the best interests of the entire community, not just today, but for generations to come. And for years now, I've heard from thousands of residents that have been crystal clear with me about what they want for Aurora. They want a community that invests in itself. They want vibrant public spaces. They want facilities for families. They want heritage protected. They want parks and trails preserved. They want a downtown people are proud of. And they want leadership that believes in the future of this town instead of constantly finding reasons to say no. That is exactly what we've been delivering. Aurora Town Square, now the heart of our community. The Armory, thriving with Slot Town and bringing energy downtown. What's the point of order? We are, and this is all part of it, Councillor. If you don't interrupt, let me continue, I'll get to it. I didn't interrupt you. The new gym expansion, the protection of Henderson Forest, the acquisition of new parkland. These are not expenses, they are investments in the future of Aurora, and Victoria Hall is no different. This project is about preserving and protecting a historic landmark while giving it new life and purpose for the next generation. It is about strengthening our downtown, increasing the value of a community asset, and creating another destination that complements the incredible momentum already happening around Town Square. Do you know what people compliment the most when they visit Aurora Town Square? It's not just the new construction, it's not just the facility itself, it's the integration of the old and the new. It is the breathtaking connection between the historic Church Street School and the modern addition. The atrium has become one of the defining architectural features of the entire project because it respects our history while embracing our future. And that is exactly the vision being proposed here. And as I said earlier, while we value every opinion from residents, committees, and stakeholders, We also have a duty to consider the advice of experts and weigh that against the broader interests of our community. In this case, the professional heritage consultants, architects, and town staff are unanimous in their recommendation to move forward through the heritage permit process. And there's a reason for that. This proposal does exactly what great town building should do. Preserve the historic character of the building while ensuring it remains functional, relevant, and protected for generations to come. This addition will allow Victoria Hall to stand proudly as a heritage feature while integrating it into the world-class cultural and community destination that we've created around Aurora Town Square. This is not the destruction of heritage. This is the preservation of heritage through investment, vision, and leadership. What truly threatens heritage buildings is not thoughtful revitalization. It is delay, it's indecision, it is endless requests for more information, it is the mentality of saying no to everything. This community deserves leadership that has the courage to move projects forward, protect what matters, and build a future residents can be proud of. So tonight we have a choice. We can continue writing this exciting chapter that we've started together, a chapter defined by investment, revitalization, preservation, and confidence in our future. And I know where I stand. I will be voting yes to preserving our heritage, yes to protecting our historic assets, yes to investing in our community, and yes to the future of Aurora. Because it's all about building a community people are proud to call home. Council, I'll call the vote. That carries. Eight point 8.2, Councilor Gardner, you pulled this one. Did you want to move the recommendation? It's the Yonge Street.
Hmm.
Do you want to move it?
Yeah,
Thank you. Seconder?
that really sounded like a stump speech, Mr. Mayor. Okay,
We're all allowed to speak, right?
yes.
Seconded by Councilor Thompson. Go ahead.
So I would like to thank the owners of the property at Yonge. It's on the corner of Yonge and Maple in the Northeast Old Aurora Heritage Conservation District. The owners worked with the Heritage Committee to make changes to complement the heritage of the area. And it's really a special thing when owners of property do that. So a public thank you to them. That's all.
Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. That carries. 8.8.3. Councilor Gardner, you pulled this for a vote? Do you want to move the recommendation? Someone want to move the recommendation? Councilor Thompson, Councilor Kim, second. Go ahead, Councilor Gardner.
This concerns the granting of a mural sign on Yonge Street. Actually, okay, we can call it Yonge Street, building that borders on Yonge Street. I would like to have a recorded vote on this. As you know, I don't agree with it at all.
Yep, all votes are recorded, Councilor.
But yes, that's why I pulled the item.
Thank you. Call the vote. Carries. 8.8.5, Councilor Reese, you pulled this one. We have the additional information 9.1, so I'm going to bring that and add it with it. Is that, you good with that? So did you want to move the recommendation? Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Gillian, thank you. And this would also be to receive the additional information. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to thank for the additional information that appears in the PDS 26061. Got a couple of questions though that I want to have clarified, if you don't mind, and these will all be directed towards Mr. Robb, I guess, in the absence of Mr. Ramuno. Sorry, Mr. I thought you'd left. So, anyway, my apologies. The traffic study, first of all, because the traffic study was in there, but it was done by an external. Have we done our own traffic study on that? Because what I found in here is that they've only identified 14 two-way trips a day for people using that. And I just find that rather small, both during the week and on the weekend. So could you elaborate a little bit on the traffic study for me? So, because I'm just not sure of the accuracy of it.
Mr. Romano?
Certainly, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so a traffic study was completed for the proposal, and our staff traffic analysts have reviewed it, and they concur with the recommendations that this proposed development will have minimal impact on that on the SARC access point and the future civilization. So they seem like low numbers, up to 20 vehicle trips. That's solely from the proposed development during those peak hours, right? 7 to 9, and then again, afternoon rush hour. So the sufficient capacity on that road network to handle the proposed development.
So you're verifying the traffic study,
Yes.
and you think that it's accurate?
And we've pursuant to council's questions at committee of the whole, so we've attached the addendum traffic study that specifically spells out the number of vehicle trips.
Council.
This additional information.
And similarly to that, through you, the parking. There's some issues people are having about parking. We have a number of people there. We have back-to-backs that have not very much parking, just enough parking for one. And has the staff done anything with respect to looking at a parking pass, an opportunity for people to use that, or are they just simply ignoring the fact that there will be parking? And I will point out that there's an event being planned by the developer this weekend on the first phase, and they have identified that parking is available at the SARC. And so I wonder if they have a permit for that, or if we've solved that problem before we get too deep into this. Through you, Mayor, to Mr. Ramuno.
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yeah, I believe they have been working with our community services folks on getting a permit for the grand opening on the weekend. But the additional information in this report, in response to the committee of the whole questions regarding the number of on-site parking that was provided for the 74 units. In the original report, we identified the 74 units would have a total of 176 parking spaces. The applicant was here 2 weeks ago, so they went back and they've added an additional 45. I think what they did, they're still in the early stages of site plan, finalizing site plan application, but they added 45 additional spaces. And that came as a result of those 20 townhome units fronting along Wellington Road. The original design had one garage per unit. All of those units have, or the majority of those units have double car garage and 2 parking spaces on the driveway. So the latest plan goes from 176 parking spaces to over 220 parking spaces.
Okay, so
on site.
So again, you're okay with the parking issue, and you won't have
Yes.
very much trouble with that. I appreciate it. And I did see that they added the 45 through the reorientation, et cetera. So that was good. I appreciated them doing it. Now, I also ask if agreements have been made with the owners of 1289 and the approval of an intersection, a signalized intersection there, because that's critical in terms of the safety in and out of them. And also the circumstances of people wanting to go from this development and wanting to go east, because they're all going to want to come out to a signalized area and turn left and go on to Wellington. Otherwise, they're going to be going out Wellington and trying to find other avenues where they can get back going east. So can you bring us up to speed on the signalization, the cooperation between the two developments, and the approval from York Region?
Sure.
Certainly, through you, Mr. Mayor. So we've identified in the report, and the applicants, the applicant of Livewell is aware that a condition of site plan approval will be the requirement that the SARC intersection be signalized. June 2nd, council will be receiving a report. I think it's already public for the application on the south side, 1289. There'll be a similar condition imposed on that development, should it get approved, that the two owners cost share to ensure that prior to any homes being occupied, that signalization will have been constructed. And the region, although they say that there's no warrants right now for the intersection, we've heard that in the past from them, they're not going to pay for it. So we're going to have the developers pay for it. So the region doesn't object to the intersection. They're just not ready to pay for it at this time.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm also asking, we talked about the management of the asset. We're having a lot of traffic that's going to be going in and out of there using the SARC driveway. Is there any relationship or agreements that you've got with the developer to try to provide additional fees or for the wear and tear on the asset that they're going to be using, that is our asset? Because I don't know if we've got this precedent anywhere else in town, but I'd like to hear from you. Through you, Mayor.
Mr. Rowe.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So no, good question, because we have that discussion with the developer, and that will be another condition along with paying for the signalization is we'll take a lump sum of fee, a one-time fee for the long-term wear and tear on that section, on that throat of the access onto the SARC property. We've done that in other situations, not specifically related to road networks, but for maintenance of stormwater ponds and things like that. So yeah, that'll be a condition of site plan approval.
Councillor.
Thank you. And the last one, I promise, ask if there's if liability for accidents or mishaps that may happen, unfortunately, on roadways while using our driveway on our private property. Has you discussed and resolved anything regarding indemnification agreements or other instruments that hold the town safe from harm?
Mr. Rowe.
Through you. Sorry.
Certainly, through Mr. Mayor. Yes, so that was one of the comments that our legal department had included in the committee of the whole report, that to deal with any future risk claims on the SARC driveway, because it's technically not designated as a public highway, that we can designate that as that portion, that throat, that entrance leg as a public highway moving forward.
Councillor.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gallo.
Thank you. Councillor Weiss asked all of my questions. I just want to kind of underline the signalization, and just to reconfirm that it'll be part of the subdivision agreement, and unless there's coordination between the two developers and the financial contribution is there, that neither development can proceed unless that is guaranteed. Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Rowe.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's correct. Similar conditions will be imposed in both site plan agreements, and the requirement is the signalization will have to occur before occupancy of any of the units on either side.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Thompson.
Not to be repetitive, but again, Councillor Weiss raised the same question. I think I'll just make a comment that with regards to the traffic study, because I still remain concerned about access into the SARC and out. And it's good to hear that the parking through those townhouses has been addressed, and that we have confidence that the signalization of that intersection will happen. But I guess, in reading the traffic study, I kind of question the times that they picked, specifically when they look at the peak hour being 4:30 to 5:30. I think anybody that travels that road on a regular basis and utilizes the SARC would probably question whether or not 4:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon is actually the peak time in Aurora when people are coming back from work or coming in and out of that intersection. And so I think we should always take a look at what we're choosing in terms of the times and the days, and really ask ourselves, is this really truly a reflection of the realities out there? And those are the peak times, because I don't personally believe that 4:30 to 5:30 is. I'm on that road every day. And I can tell you when it is busier, and it certainly isn't 4:30.
Councillor Garner?
Well, just to add to that, I don't think that the hours they chose is at all a reflection of the busiest times. And I wouldn't mind knowing why they chose that. With respect to the developers' improvements, I thank them very much for adding so many parking spaces. And what I will say is that I'm going to use the word shocking. The lack of trees that are going to be on this property is very concerning to me for many reasons, but which you've heard in the past. But this is on a very high traffic corridor, and it's not going to be good. The lack of trees is not going to be good for our future residents. And I think we need to look out for them. And in my memory, I don't think that anything like this has ever been allowed. It's not respectful to the future residents. And I hope that, Mr. Muno, you are at the table. I'm hoping that in the site plan process, that can be worked on. I'd like to ask you at the front, the subdivision part facing exactly onto Wellington. I see that there is a sidewalk and then there's a space. Is that a 3-foot space and would be big enough to plant trees?
Sure.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Garner, you're referring to the space within the Wellington Street Boulevard. I think there's more than probably 3 feet. I'll have to confirm that. Again, at the site plan stage, we will be working with the applicant and our Parks Department to finalize the landscape plan and tree planting. So I'll make note of that. Well, we'd have to work with the region regarding any additional tree planting along the regional right of way, but this is a compact site, but there will be some tree planting. And again, we haven't finalized the site plan yet, but that's something we definitely take a look at with our Parks Department.
Councillor?
Thank you, Mr. Manu. Hopefully coniferous trees that can provide some continuous blocking for those people that are almost fronting onto Wellington. And I think it's very important. It will be very important to the future residents. And I think it's important enough to some members and people at the table to really take a hard look at this. Trees are very important to health and quality of life, especially on Wellington.
Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. That carries. 8.9.1, Councilor, you vote this, do you want to move it? You want to move it?
Yes.
Thank you. Seconder? Councilor Gardner, go ahead, Councilor.
I just, as there's a delegate, I wanted to pull it and just have, I think it merits a vote of council. That was it.
Okay. Seeing none others, I'll call the vote. Carries. New business. Councilor Kemp. Councilor Gallo. Councillor Thompson. New business. Yeah, go ahead.
Through to Mr. Ramuno, just to get an update on the status of the Yonge Street multi-use path. Have we awarded the tender? Do we have an idea of when construction will start? And typically when construction starts, do we send out notices to everybody in the area? And if so, can we expand the radius?
Mr. Ramuno.
Certainly through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, our engineering department is working with procurement. I think we're just days away from finalizing the contract, and we should have the crews mobilized on site within weeks. Our engineering staff, Nancy, our manager, is actually working on the signage that will be placed up and down Yonge Street, and we'll certainly, I'm sure she's planning on notification to the surrounding area residents. So I'll speak to her about expanding that as well.
Councillor.
Thank you.
Councillor Gardner, new business. Councillor Gillian, new business. Councillor Weiss, new business.
Yes, just one thing, and I want to thank Ms. Teenkamp for updating me with respect to the town park and the splash pad that's been delayed because as you can imagine with the good weather coming, I'm getting a few questions about when that's going to happen. So through you to Mrs. Teenkamp, could you just verify publicly the schedule going ahead so all our little children can be cool in the coming warm days?
Steenkamp.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, certainly. This week, the weather is conducive for the rubberized surfacing going down. So the contractor is mobilized and arranged to come in Friday. It requires a 48-hour cure time. So we hope to have the splash pad open on Monday morning.
Councillor.
Hooray, thank you.
I know the families love it during farmers market. So
Yes,
yes, the sooner the better. Absolutely. Councillor Gillian, did you have something?
Sorry, I just noticed something. That's okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I normally don't click on this right at the last minute, but we were given a link to some reports on information reports, and I just thought there's some really good things that were there. Stuff on municipal elections, grant update, development charge and stuff, and I was just hoping maybe we can, I didn't realize we had to ask to include it on the agenda just for information purposes. So considering there's some pretty good stuff there.
Well, and I agree with you, and I'd suggest everyone take a look and read through it.
Oh, I'm just hoping it could be included, but
You could maybe try to include for the next cycle. Yeah, you can ask to be included on the next cycle.
oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
If you want any of that information, Councillor. Okay. Thank you. Okay, move to bylaws. Someone want to move the bylaws? Councillor Thompson, Councillor Gallo. Any comments or questions? Call the vote. That carries a motion for the confirming bylaw. Who wants to move that? Councillor Weiss, seconded. Councillor Kim. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Weiss, Councillor Gillian. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.